What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and today we're going to be talking about something that happened to one of our clients, which is unfortunate, okay? And it all happened with Fiverr, which sucks. Anyways, so we're going to call this client Tom. So Tom, a couple of months ago, came to us. He wanted some help with the front end of his website. He already had a back-end engineer. It was someone that he knew, so that wasn't really a problem. Sorry I'm talking low. I have a scratchy voice, so I'm trying to, preserve. Anyways, so he wanted help with the front end, but as we all know, designing front end is a lot of work, especially if you're literally doing everything. The copy, the logo, the UX, the research, the UI, every little thing. It's going to cost you, right? So he wanted everything done, and we couldn't come to an agreement on price, so we give him a list of things. We give him a list of people that could design his work and that maybe will fit his budget. That wasn't the case. He actually ended up going to Fiverr. Okay, first of all, I want to say that I'm not bashing on Fiverr as the platform. I'm just bashing on some of the users that are in here. They're kind of scummy, and you just need to be wary. All right. So he went to the Fiverr. He got a person that will design and build out his front end, develop his front end, right, and give him a source file. The thing was that the guy ended up stealing his idea, which sucks, right? That completely sucks. And some of the questions that the designer, when you buy a gig, if you buy a gig, right? Some of them will be like, hey, here's some questions that you might need to answer before we get started. And bada bing, bada boom, right? Tom did that. But later on, when he purchased it, he answered all the questions. Later on, the designer was asking him even more questions. Questions that you're just like, why would he ask that? Like I said, I'm not a designer, so I wouldn't know if this is actually a question a designer should be asking. But one of the questions was like, hey, what are the features that you're going to be building that stands out from the competition? Now, the features is like, that's basically all his idea, right? His ideas, right? That kind of sucks. But anyways, that's kind of like a iffy question for me anyways. I keep on saying anyways. That's kind of an iffy question for me. I'm not a designer, so I'm not sure if that's an actual question or not that you should be asking, or that the designer should be asking. But for me, that was an iffy question. That has something to do with the company and probably the research of the company. But if I were to answer that question, I'll probably be as vague as possible and not give them everything about the feature. So yeah, that was one question. Another question was, what other companies are you going to be using with your website? They worded it in a way that it took me a second I read that like 3 or 4 times. And to me, it sounds like they're trying to ask for APIs, like the companies that he's going to be using to get data from, right? APIs basically, right? But they worded it in a way where it sounds like a designer kind of question, right? So let me actually tell you exactly how they said it. Well, not exactly, but paraphrase. They said something around, what companies are you going to be using for your website, so that way we could get a better understanding on the whole concept, like getting the researching it, so that way we could research those companies and probably get some inspiration or copy and give you a better copy for your website. Which it does sound like a designer kind of question, but in reality, that's APIs. They want to know what APIs is he going to be using, so that way they could use it. Obviously, I mean, you wouldn't think about that. And first of all, I mean, if Tom didn't think about it, like, it sounds like an innocent question, which it should have been. But then again, why would they ask that? Honestly, I don't know. Guys. Like I said, I don't know if this is a designer question or not. Designers, like I said, if you're watching this, let me know down in the comments below if that's a question that is asked. I'm not too sure. Anyways, there are several other questions where you're just like, that's an iffy question. But basically Tom gave him everything about his company and his ideas, and they built it out and published it, which sucks, right? So my point is, try to be careful on Fiverr, guys, honestly. And I didn't know this, but some people are like e-commerce, like for commercial use. If you get basic, which kind of sucks because he got basic, Tom got basic, so, and it wasn't for commercial use, but I was like, what the hell are they designing if it's not for commercial use? Like, why? Like, it should be for commercial use. They should be giving them the rights to actually use it. But some of them say, no, it's not for commercial use. It's just a design. You cannot use it for commercial use. Which I'm like, what? Why? It's for me, in my opinion, that's stupid, bro. That is really, really stupid. That kind of grinds my gears a bit. This one doesn't have it, but I'm pretty sure if I just keep on clicking around, I will find one that says not for commercial use. Look, this one says commercial use right there. You see that? It says commercial use. So this is pretty cool, which it should be for commercial use, but some of them are like, no commercial use, which is scummy. I'm like, dude, that's stupid, bro. Anyways, he had a basic one where it wasn't for commercial use, so all he had was a design that he could probably build out but never use it for commercial. He would have to pay the guy extra to use it for a commercial, which is stupid, man, in my opinion. Anyways, so we now that this is happening quite a bit with our clients, we came out, I'm not gonna say with a standard, but we came out with a solution, and I'm air quoting solution because we don't even know if it's a good solution or not. Because as designers, you would typically want to design the whole thing so that way everything could be uniformed, right? Everything could be same font, same everything, right? It just looks uniformed. If you're splitting out the things, like giving the logo to somebody else, giving the illustration to somebody else, then it's not going to look as uniformed as it should be. But anyways, when you're dealing with Fiverr, we came out to, like I said, in air quotes, a solution to this. Basically, try to split out everything. Something that you wouldn't want to do, you would want to do with Fiverr, in our opinion, right? So if you're building out a website and you need the front end to be done, make someone do the illustrations. Illustrations is let me actually, this right here, like this illustration right here, that's an illustration. Make someone do that. They're not going to be asking about the company. They'll just be asking about questions about that illustration specifically. Like, what do you want the illustration to tell the users, or what do you want the illustration to look like, and stuff like that. Nothing about the company yet. And then you would want someone to build out your actual website, or not build out, sorry, to design your actual website, just to design, right? And since you already have the illustrations, they shouldn't be asking nothing about the illustrations. What they should be asking, and it's kind of inevitable, right? That they're going to ask about the company. Like, what is the company about? What are you trying to do, or what are you trying to tell the people, and all that stuff. But please use common sense in this area, because some people will ask you questions. You're like, why? Don't answer those questions, okay? So yes, you want someone to design your website. And my opinion on this is, have some sketches ready. Typically with one of our designers, you wouldn't have sketches because you as a user don't know about the sketches, right? You don't know how it's going to look like. That's why you're hiring a designer, so that way they could, give you some concepts of how it's going to look like, build out, design your website. But with Fiverr, man, Fiverr is just cheap, bro. So it's what you pay for, man. So I would recommend having some sketches on like how you want your website to look like. It doesn't have to be good, but some sketches or even URLs on other websites that you want your website to look like, and then give them that way, so that way they won't be asking too much about your company. They shouldn't be at that point, because you gave them a lot of references. So they should be asking, do you want it to look like this, or what kind of a message are you trying to portray, and stuff like that, right? Nothing specific about the company. That's a good thing. Like I said, we're trying to separate things so that way no one has a clear idea of what you're trying to do. Now the next step is hiring someone to do the develop your front end, right? And he or she should not have any questions about your company. You already have the design. All you have to do is give the design to that developer, and he should be able to build it out. There's no reason for him to actually ask you about the questions or a company at that point, right? Those hurdles was already passed by the illustration and the design. Those are my tips. Like I said, this is air quotes. This is a solution that I came up with that might help you, not get your idea stolen. You want to protect your baby and try to do as much as you can to protect it. Okay, guys? Typically, as a designer, you would want one designer to do everything, but with Fiverr, you might need to split it out. And I'm not too sure about that either, right? Because you want your design to look good, uniform, and the only way to get that is by doing it with one designer. But it's Fiverr we're talking about. You need to be careful, guys. Please, please, please be careful on Fiverr. It doesn't matter. Look at this. It doesn't matter if they're pro verified. I don't give a rat's ass if they're pro verified. I will not trust them. I will be very, very careful, man. 207 reviews, that doesn't mean nothing to me, okay? Just don't trust anybody. That's my point. Don't trust anybody. Try to keep your answers minimal. If they do ask like specific questions, try to keep it vague. And again, with Fiverr, what you pay is what you get. Honestly, it sucks. So if you want a good design, I would recommend going out with somebody, a friend, or spend. It's going to cost you money. If this idea is worth it, then spend the money. Like, yes, you want a good design, and you don't want someone stealing it, and also you don't want bad design. If you don't want to do either, then you better start learning how to be creative and start designing, right? But anyways, guys, that was it for this video. That was the whole idea, like just telling you to be careful on Fiverr, on who you trust and all that stuff. So, as I mentioned before, if you have any solutions to this problem, please let me know, or let everybody know in the comments down below. Hit that like button and subscribe. I really do appreciate you watching my videos. It does mean a lot to me, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.